unblocked sea view, and it has been 26 years since the last launch in this area. Hi everyone, so today we'll be featuring the most exciting new launch today. I think a lot of people are waiting and looking forward for this. So this new development will actually feature a very rare thing that most developments don't have, which is a sea view. Unblocked sea view, and it has been 26 years since the last launch in this area. So I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Rayne, and we actually help clients do analysis of which new launches in the market that you can potentially consider. So that's the reason why we're doing this studio review today, right? To help you understand this upcoming blockbuster launch that everyone is waiting for. So especially if you are Eastie like me and Elizabeth, you will definitely know that this is coming right up in April. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. As Elizabeth had mentioned, this is highly anticipated because this particular project will have sea views which many buyers are looking for, right? And you get that actually in the East Coast, and I think the last launch that we have was Mayor Blue.
Yes,
that also sold very well on day one for buyers who were looking for fantastic sea views and access to actually the East Coast part. So as on the screen itself, you definitely can see the very beautiful perspective that the developer have released, and it's a very interesting V shape that we are having for this particular development.
Yeah.
So that we can enjoy, I think, up to
70%.
Yes, over 70% of the units at Vela Bay will enjoy sea view and partial sea views. Let's take a look at some of the other perspectives as well. You can see this is the arrival entrance as well as the zoom out shot of these two beautiful modern buildings that's upcoming in the new township of Bayshore.
So Rayne, who is the developer of this plot of land?
So the developer for this plot of land is Singhai. Singhai is a very established developer in the local property landscape, and definitely they have done so many blockbusters and namely they are Park Clementi's, and recently they also did like a blockbuster called Grand Diamond in the Dakota area in District 15. And of course, I think they definitely see the potential in this eastern side of Singapore, and they actually won this very first plot of residential land at Bayshore. And they're definitely award winning, and we're really looking forward to the design inspiration that they bring to all these blockbusters like Park Clementi's and Grand Diamond. Okay, so Elizabeth, maybe you can share with our viewers a little bit more about the location, you know, since we are Easties, and I think we can definitely share with the viewers what our experiences as a Eastie is.
Okay, sure. So Vela Bay is going to be located in Bayshore, of course, and the most exciting thing is right next, directly connected to the MRT station.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just maybe 3 steps away from the Bayshore MRT along the Thomson East Coast line, right? So you definitely know that there's strong connectivity in this area. Apart from that, we are just across from the sea, so there's East Coast Park in front of you. Very beautiful views, and also for lifestyle as well. You know, very nice to go for a walk. You know, recreational activities as well. So within the 1 kilometer radius, there's also a very popular school called Temasek Primary. So definitely very strong local demand for families who want to send their kids to the schools in the area, right? So the next slide, we can see that there is what are the upcoming plans in the Bayshore area.
Thus, we know Vela Bay is located right beside the MRT and is connected to the MRT station, and this is actually the first residential plot that is in this new transformational area, and many new residential homes has coming. In actual fact, 10,000 new homes is coming, with around 7,000 of HDB units and 3,000 of new residential homes. And you can see the BTO plots right up here, just a short walk away from the MRT station. And definitely, if you look at all these plots over here, they are zoned for residential units. And 3 days ago, we actually received news, right, that the URA released the sale of this plot of land, which is actually an integrated mixed-use land for sale, right? And definitely that is going to gather a lot of interest from a lot of developers. Just like how Vela Bay's site during the bidding had a lot of interest from big boys in the local landscape. And definitely I feel with this release, it gives positive signs that actually the government is going to start releasing all these plots of land in line with the upcoming BTOs over here itself. Very exciting area that we should all look out for in the eastern side of Singapore.
Yeah, and just to add on, right, you can already see from this map, right, the exit strategy already. Because beside you, we have BTOs. These are going to be the very expensive ones, right?
Yeah. Definitely these are going to be prime BTOs.
Yes, correct. And also we have that upcoming new condominiums in the area as well. It's going to drive prices up. So these are your potential upgraders in the area, immediate upgraders. And at the same time, you also have the probably more expensive other condominiums that will be launching in the area as well. Yeah.
And I'm sure, like what Elizabeth mentioned, the BTO is going to be the prime kind. Definitely we'll see $1 million HDB flats definitely around here. And this will be the kind of BTO upgraders that will potentially be able to afford all the surrounding private residential, right? Other than Temasek Primary School that we mentioned earlier on, there's actually another plot of land zoned for education over here, and potentially there could be another new school relocating to this area itself. And let's hope there's going to be a highly sought after school, and this will give the buyers around this area another boost.
So just now we mentioned that Vela Bay is going to be along the Thomson East Coast Line. So this Thomson East Coast Line is a very, very powerful MRT line. So it takes you all the way from the Changi Airport to the CBD and all the way to Woodlands area. And this whole entire Thomson East Coast Line is full of stops that are future growth zones. So we're talking about Bayshore, we're also talking about Lentor, and we're also talking about Caldecott. All these areas have lots of new supply of new homes coming up.
So if you realize in the past 12 months itself, right, the government have been rolling a lot of land parcels along the Thomson East Coast Line, and we talk a little bit about some of these very highly sold new launches around the Thomson East Coast Line. You know, like from last year, we've seen very good sales from the Lentor area, from the Springleaf area, as well as the Great World area. Definitely in February, we see the launch of River Modern, which is right beside Great World City, having more than 90% sales on one day, right? And of course, the Marina Bay area, which is the CBD area. And of course, now moving off to the Bayshore side, we are looking forward to this mega launch in April. And if you look at the Thomson East Coast Line and the Bayshore MRT station, what I really like, Elizabeth, is that the Bayshore MRT station is actually already ready.
Yes, you don't have to wait.
Exactly. So there are a lot of other new launches whereby it is a new MRT line. And sometimes during the TOP of the development itself, the MRT may or may not be ready.
Yeah.
So Vela Bay gives you certainty, right, that the MRT station will be ready in operation for all the residents.
I think those who are living in Bayshore for own stay or even for investment, right, they don't have to worry at all because it's very easily rentable.
So let's talk a little bit about why East Side is the best side, right?
Okay, are you a nature person?
Yes, I am.
Really?
Not the Singapore nature, but the overseas nature.
Okay.
Oh, I know you are because you always go to the beach to take a walk, right?
Yes, I always go to the park, to jalan-jalan, or go for a run. I like to sit by the sea and just stare into the distance. So that's something I personally like. And I think Vela Bay, right next to the East Coast Park, you'll definitely enjoy this kind of lifestyle. I think there's a lot of good food at East Coast Park also.
Exactly. And I think one of the greatest draw from all the first line of seafront homes along the ECP area is the connectivity via the underpass along the ECP for residents on the first line to get across to the East Coast Park. I think really a lot of buyers really like this connectivity, especially because Singapore is almost like a concrete jungle, right? Having such proximity to the park itself is something that many families really hope to enjoy, right? And of course, right opposite us, we have the East Coast Park, let alone all the different F&B choices that we have around the eastern side of Singapore. We have definitely on direct access via the MRT to Orchard and MBS area. And actually nowadays, I often go to Jewel at Changi Airport. So lots of new stuff coming. Even we have a T5 coming in the near years, right? And definitely this is another addition that I think Vela Bay's residents will get to enjoy.
Yeah, and Terminal 5 will be bigger than Terminal 1, 2, 3, 4 combined.
Exactly.
Lots of jobs coming up as well. So very exciting.
Okay, so speaking of nature, right, Elizabeth, since you like to visit the beach and then take a walk, jalan-jalan, why don't you share with our viewers a little bit more about some of the park connectors around for some of the potential buyers who probably really like the green connectors in Singapore?
Yeah, so there's Singapore has a really established round island route, all the park connectors all around Singapore. But of course, living at Vela Bay, you have the direct access to the one near East Coast Park. So East Coast Park, a lot of cycling enthusiasts love this area, so you can cycle directly all the way to Marina Bay area. I think it's a very scenic route and also very relaxing.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is being shown on the slide by all the dark green routes. That you can see that it is actually connected using all the different park connectors that the government has built.
So let's take a look at what are the potential views you can get at Vela Bay. So at different angles, you get different views.
Yeah, and of course, as we mentioned earlier on, Vela Bay enjoys more than 70% of sea views, and that's why the developer has cleverly positioned the buildings in a V shape to enhance this possibility. So if you look at some of the views that Vela Bay will get to enjoy, other than the sea views itself, actually towards a landed site where you enjoy the low-rise views is potentially quite nice as well. Yep. You can see over here, whereby these are all the landed cluster, which is actually low-rise, which means to say you will get panoramic views as well.
Yes, and I think they cleverly also tilted the block such that it actually avoids, there's a Costa del Sol right next to us. It's also high rise, but actually the views will be not blocked by Costa del Sol. It will be away.
Speaking to the developer the other day, they were mentioning to me that some of the units at Vela Bay will not just enjoy the sea view, but if you look at the facing towards probably this direction, you will actually have the potential to see MBS as well. So over here itself, you can see the unblocked sea view, the green as well, and that's where East Coast Park is situated. And of course, this is Costa del Sol, and they have positioned in a way whereby they will try to kind of avoid that part of the views.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look as well. Over here, as I mentioned, towards the landed view, it's actually quite nice. So I draw reference to actually some of the units that's being sold at Mayor Mansion and Mayor Blue, which also enjoy the sea and the landed. In fact, the landed views were pretty well taken up because that gives you that certainty of view that the landed plot ratio will continue to stay low.
And also, I think it's quieter facing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how many floors do we have at Vela Bay?
Vela Bay is actually 31 stories high. So surrounding, you can see what are the other buildings around us, how high they are. So Costa del Sol is at 30 stories, the Bayshore is at 30 stories, and then the remaining towards the northern side is a lower rise. So 7 stories, 19 stories.
Well, that makes us probably the tallest in the area now.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
Of course, one of the key components that a lot of buyers, especially investors, look out for when they buy new launches is definitely about the master plan as well as transformational plans. So for this next segment, we'll talk a little bit about the master plan and transformational plans, more in detail of what Vela Bay's residents will get to enjoy, as well as help in the exit strategy for the investors.
Yep. So in Bayshore area, Rayne has mentioned earlier that there will be about 10,000 new homes in this area. So for investors, definitely put your money into where the government is also putting money in. So in the future, this will be a much more vibrant town with lots of families, with lots of amenities. This area is considered a car-like town also, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so there will actually be very strong connectivity in terms of like the pedestrian, in terms of buses, for the residents in this area.
So with the transformation, there will be addition and enhancement to all this existing infrastructure that is already there. So this is definitely something that is, I would say, on top of what they already have. This is an enhancement, right? So once the whole entire Bayshore area is transformed, it looks a little bit like this on the slide. You can see it's really a beautiful area where you can see this whole entire area when it's built up. You will really see upgraded connections, and there's a lot of added pedestrian connectivity. You can see also that other than the East Coast part, the government has also inserted some green parcels over here, which will be called the Central Park.
I think it'll be very nice, very livable, like a brand new town. Everything is new, nothing is old in this area.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, at the same time, there are the existing infrastructure that you get to enjoy. And of course, other than what you see at the Bayshore area, if you look a little bit further out, we actually also will enjoy the long-term development plans at the Long Island Coastal Protection Project, where the government will be adding reservoirs and parks fronting the Bayshore area. That means more greens, more waterfront activities. Really, from short to mid to long term, you see lots of transformational plans in this area itself, right? And with the completion, you will definitely see more amenities with shops, eateries, supermarkets, sports and recreational amenities. And I think with 7,000 BTOs coming, I think there will be more coffee shops, there will be more daily amenities that all the residents in this area will get to enjoy. Right? And also the 400 meters transit priority corridor along Bayshore will give priority to buses, cyclists and pedestrians. And like what Elizabeth mentioned, this is going to be the next car-like town.
So I want to highlight, right, this part. If you take a look, the whole stretch of Bayshore, there are only a few plots of land that faces the sea. So you are actually really a rare piece of land. At the same time, you're also the first mover.
Exactly. I think being the first mover, we have shown in all previous new transformational plans, gets to enjoy the fruits the most, right? And that's why many of the investors and buyers are actually looking forward to this particular new launch.
If you are interested to come and secure a unit at Vela Bay, you need to understand these dates is key. Okay, if you miss it, then you miss it really. The preview dates will be from the 11th to the 21st of April, so only 2 weekends. The show flat will be open for viewing.
And the sales booking will be on 25th of April, Saturday.
Yeah, so if you're keen to actually secure a unit, you will have to go through a balloting process. units, and you must register your interest between the 11th to the 21st of April. So it's by balloting, so we'll know your queue number, we'll also know your rough time to come down on the booking day. And of course, me and Rayne, we have actually helped many families, many of our clients to secure the units at new launches.
So contact us so that we can strategize your selection process and analyze anything that you might need to know before your next purchase.
Yes, and the booking is actually very, very exciting, but of course some people find it very stressful. So we are here to help you to analyze and also to help you shortlist every unit that you can possibly get, so that on the day itself you don't have to stress at all.
We will be very happy to walk you through the process. My name is Rayne.
My name is Elizabeth.
And we hope to see you at the show flat.
See you!
Because in this area is definitely a very hot spot for upgrading. There are only 2 units of this.
Yeah, different blocks. One block have one. It's the king of each block.